Hi everyone. Today is December 21st. It's Winter Solstice. So it is the shortest day of the year, and from now we start adding a minute or two of extra daylight until we get to the summer solstice. I've always loved the solstices because I think that they are bigger signals of the weather changing and climate changing than our sort of dates, our seasons. So anyway, I went on a walk with the dog and I decided that I would try my hand at making flower crowns. Never made them, and it just seems like a fun thing to try, and this seemed like a low pressure way to try it. So these are some olive branches. They're just kind of the thin ones, and I thought instead of using wire just to go out and get something that's a sting in a wall, maybe weave some flowers into it. So I have about 15 branches here, and I have some ribbon. So I'm gonna try and make 3 of these if I can in the next hour or so. So I've just made the first one, and I didn't video it because I wanted to see how I could secure it. So basically what I've done is just taken about 4 branches and I've interweaved them. It's almost like trying to make a braid. You overlap them, and then I'll sort of trim these. But this would fit my head pretty well. So so I'm going to walk you through making a second one. So here's some of the branches, and sort of what I'm doing is I'm overlapping them, kind of trying to turn them and trap them if I can. And as I turn this, I try and pick another one up here. And you won't be able to get the stiff end in. There's almost no chance of that happening. But if you can sort of start to wrap it around, so here we go. And there's enough tension in these branches that they actually work pretty well. So I'm going to make these a little smaller because these are for my daughters who have smaller heads than I do. And so I've got this trapped with my hand right now. And it takes a little bit of finessing. And so there's the start of this one. And what's nice when they're green is that, they really bend pretty well. So I'm going to go to this side that doesn't really have any branches and drop another branch sort of maybe in the same direction and weave that in as well. And by weave, I simply mean that I'm sort of twisting it around. This is just for us to play with today. But because we have so many olive trees in our area, it just seems that, this would be a great one instead of grapevines to make. So this one's there. I have this ribbon, and what I might do is put ribbon around it just to fully secure it. So let's try a third one. It helps to pick branches that are not very stiff. For example, this is quite stiff, so I'm probably going to take this end out. Here's one, and so now we start the overlapping, kind of mid-stem length, and here's the third. So as you hold it, you wrap one around. I'm never quite confident that this is going to turn out, and certainly when you're doing it as a video, you're little faith in oneself. So here we go. So I'm now kind of connected this and wrapping the last one around. I'm not sure it's gonna hold, but I'm gonna take it down one more loop. So there we go. So I have 1, 2, and 3. So now I'm gonna wrap some ribbon around this, and I think these are pretty much done. And the intention of this is, you know, this won't be in water, this won't be fresh, this will just stay like this, and I think it'll be fun to wear later today. So here's one. You can see I sort of wrapped it with this ribbon, and that'll really hold it together. So now there's nothing on this except the 3 or 4 stems of olives and some brown polka dot ribbon on it. So let's walk through and see how we do that. So if you notice, this has the ends sticking up, but I'm not really going to trim them till I've kind of fully tied this down. So you start with the ribbon and you kind of go to one bare side. Hopefully this comes through, and you know, just tie 1 knot, and then you simply just take it around. If you have a ribbon that has a design on one side, you know, you can show that, or you can just use a neutral ribbon. I like this because it has these lime green dots, which I think really goes well with, you know, the olive leaves. You can also leave some stems out. It's as rustic as you want to make it. So here we are back at the original point, and all I'm going to do is basically just tie a double knot and cut the ribbon off. And I think the reason I want to learn to make these is these are sort of fun for, I think, kids, and you know, rather than go to the store and buy material, just make use of nature. So here we go. The other thing you could do is tie a bunch of wreaths together, and so now you have, you know, something like this hanging on your door, which I think is also really delightful. But we're going to make flower crowns today. So I'm going to cut the ribbon, just leaving a little bit off, and there you go. So now I'm going to trim this end off a bit. And just look around, looks pretty smooth, and you know, if there's a piece sticking out that, like this one has a couple more. There we go. So there we go. A olive branch, a floral piece for your head. Let's see how that looks.